we have to do research before. You can't come and wing it. You have to know what the other side says first and what the proof is. Not just to say, oh, it's liberal, I don't want to.
You're right. That's right. That's right. But some of the things, some of the anti-global warming is that the data they have is not even accurate.
So that's
and I know just recently the Canadian government purged a whole bunch of data from their databases because it didn't support their position. It didn't support their position. I'm trying to antagonize Rav Mund so that he'll respond.
I want to hear the position.
Okay, should we start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we are up to, I believe, the bottom of Chav Vav Amud Beis. I believe we're at the bottom of Chav Vav Amud Beis, up to the two dots. So yesterday we learned where the tefillas come from. So we learned that the Avos were masakin them, and then they set them up to correspond to Karbonis. And there's even shilos in the Rishonim when the Avos set them up, it was only Rishos, and then once it was replacing Karbonis, that's when it became a chiyuv. There's a lot of rate on it, but a kolpan, we do have the halacha that the tefillas Avos tiknum. Avram was masakin Shachris, Yitzchak was masakin Mincha, and Yaakov Avinu was masakin Mariv, which we're going to learn a little bit more about to end it up lot today. Zok to Hilig Gemara. Rabbi Yehuda, this is a little bit of a complicated Gemara. It's probably kedai just to get some facts clear. The Mishnah talks about Mincha Gedoyla, Mincha Ketana. What is Mincha Gedoyla? What is Mincha Ketana? So Mincha Gedoyla is the time is the phrase that's used to describe the time where you can start davening Mincha, which would mean 6.5 shos maniyos after the beginning of the day. So it's at the time where the sun starts setting in the west. That's what Mincha Gedoyla is. And that was also the time where you could start to bring the carbon tamid. You could start being oisik in the carbon tamid shal bein harabayim. Mincha Ketana is the time where they usually brought the tamid shal bein harabayim. Usually the tamid shal bein harabayim was hukrav, not the shchita, but the akrava on the mizbeach of the tamid shal bein harabayim was normally 9.5 shoyes maniyos after the beginning of the day, or 2.5 shoyes maniyos before the end of the day. So that's where Mincha Gedoyla comes from, and that's where Mincha Ketana comes from. And Plag HaMincha means the halfway mark. So Plag HaMincha of Mincha Gedoyla would be halfway between when you can start davening Mincha and nighttime, and Plag HaMincha Ketana would be halfway between when you can start davening Mincha Ketana and nighttime. So if Mincha Ketana is 9.5 hours after day, or 2.5 hours before night, then Plag HaMincha Ketana would be the halfway point, which would be 1 hour and 15 minutes shos maniyos before nightfall, right? And the Plag HaMincha Gedoyla would be half of 5.5 hours, so it's 2.75 hours before nightfall. So that's how those terms work.
Does everybody agree when the day starts and it's only when nightfall is? In other words,
no, that was the machlokes between the Balatanya, where he agreed with the Gra and the Magen Avram. The Magen Avram holds it from Netz until Shkia. So the 12 shoyes maniyos start at Netz and at Shkia, and the Balatanya, the Shulchan Aruch Harav, and the Vilna Gaon agree that it's from Alois HaShachar till Tzeitzach HaChavim.
So therefore, the shows manias is a little bit long.
That's right. That's right. That's right. It'll make the day a little bit longer, and that's why we have the difference between the Krishmas.
There's always the Magen Avram and the Gra.
That's right. They don't mention
the
Balatanya when they talk about on the chart of Magen Avram and Gra, but I bet you if you go to Lubavitch, it says the Magen Avram and the Shulchan Aruch Harav, or maybe only the Shulchan Aruch Harav. Well, let me ask you a question. So at one point in his life he passed one way, at one point he passed another way. At what point in his life did he write the Tanya? That's right. So you can write before the Baal Tanya became the Baal Tanya. Interesting. Okay. So now that we know what our times are, we can get started. Rabbi Yehuda ad arba shoyis. Shachris is until 4 shoyis from the beginning of the day. And again, it's 4 shoyis manios. Iboilu, what does 4 shoyis mean? Is it ad ve'ad bechlal? So that means for 4 hours you can say tefillah, you can daven. Oidum ad ve'lo ad bechlal, until the beginning of the 4th hour, so only for 3 hours you're allowed to daven. Tashma, we're going to bring a raya. Now, of course, we're all hoping in advance that it's ad ve'ad bechlal, because if it's ad ve'ad bechlal, it means we have to daven earlier, right? So we're going to hope that it's ad ve'ad bechlal. I think that's what the Gemara comes out. We'll see. Tashma, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, ad plag hamincha. Rabbi Yehuda says, lagabe mincha, he says until plag hamincha. So let's see what Rabbi Yehuda meant when he said ad plag hamincha. He amrit b'shleima ad ve'lo ad bechlal. If when Rabbi Yehuda said that the Zman HaMincha is still Plag HaMincha, it doesn't include the Plag HaMincha. So let's think about it. Right now we're going to use the Plag HaMincha at the end of the day. So up to an hour and a quarter before the end of the day. Or does it include that last hour and a quarter, meaning up until the night? Right? So Zok to Gemara. Let's think about it. If you're going to say it's out of Lad Bechlal, and meaning you have to stop davening Mincha an hour and a quarter Shas Maniyos before the end of the day, Hainu Deike ben Rabbi Yehuda Rabbanan. Then it makes sense because Rabbanan said Ad HaErev. And Rabbi Yehuda says the Zman is an hour and a quarter Shas Maniyos earlier. If you're going to say that when Rabbi Yehuda said till the Plag HaMincha, it includes that time of the Plag HaMincha, which means it's up until the Erev, then Rabbi Yehuda, Hainu Rabbanan. So then there is no machloikis at all between Rabbi Yehuda and the Rabbanon, because they both hold that at ha'erev you're allowed to say, you're allowed to daven. So that is our problem. Ella mai. So what do you want to prove to me from the machloikis lagabe the end of the time to daven mincha? You're trying to prove that ad veloy ad bechlal. That's going to cause a complication in the sefer. Ema sefer. V'shel musafin, when it comes time to daven musaf,